what's the best part of sailing?
Freedom. Sailing is the only way that you can go anywhere you want to go, and you don't have to stop at fuel stations. You don't have to get a lot of permission. You have to check into different countries, but it's the last bastion of freedom for the common person that can get a boat for relatively inexpensive $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. You can sail to Hawaii or Mexico through the South Pacific, and you don't have to be rich to do it. I've always been independently poor, and I've sailed over 50,000 miles on different boats. So it really is pretty much the last way to do it. Ready about? We're going to do a quick tack here. I can handle it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Watch your head.
All right, so what was that we just did?
That was a tack, which is one of the only two maneuvers you can do on a sailboat. And basically, tacking and jibing, which is the other maneuver, are the same thing in a sense. They both move the wind from one side of the boat to the other side of the boat. But in a tack, you're moving the boat through the eye of the wind. The bow goes through the eye of the wind. And in a jibe, the stern goes through the eye of the wind. So tacking is a little more difficult, but safer. Jibing, you'll generally have the sails all the way out, and so if you jibe wrong, that boom can swing across and hit people in the head and cause some problems.
So this is the boom,
That's the boom, yeah.
And this is the mast?
That's the mast, it's the mainsail, and that's the jib up forward.
Jib up forward. So what would you say to people who are aged, let's say like 16 and 28, people who are younger? Would you recommend why they should get involved in sailing?
Well, when I was 18 actually, I bought my first sailboat that was usable. I had a couple of the boats I fixed up. But at 18, I took off on a Newport 20 and sailed to Mexico and lived there for a year. I lived on the boat before that as well, so it's an inexpensive place to have a roof over your head, and it's one of those few roofs you can actually take with you anywhere you want to go. So I sailed to Mexico, was in Cabo for 2 months, La Paz for a month, up in the Sea of Cortez for about 10 months, and learned Spanish, had a great time, and kind of made that passage into adulthood, which I think we all have to do in some way to make our mark in the world. So I would say sailing's good for that. Sailing's also very social. You can, you know, if you have a boat, everybody wants to come on your boat, so it's a great way to have friends, but it's also a great way to get away from people as well. If you just want to go out and, you know, sail around yourself, you can do it. So.
How much would a boat like this cost you, would you say?
You know, you can get these boats for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. They're not that expensive. This one's a 1975. It's the last year they built this particular boat.
And it's how long?
It's 23 feet. I'm going to tack here again real quick.
Tack here again. Let's do it.
And
wow.
So this is a, you know, it's got a nice big cockpit, which was the reason I got it for what I do. But it is, you know, relatively expensive. I would say you want a little bit heavier boat if you're going to go ocean cruising. But even those you can pick up for 10 or 15,000. You know, something in the, you know, 28 to 32 foot range is a good size range. And old is fine. You want the rigging to be in good shape, and you want to check your decks to see if they're have much water in them. You don't want a lot of moisture in the coring.
I see.
But a good surveyor and a good broker